Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hey Ed, what are you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm just practicing because we're going to be talking about the powers of Matthew Starr, the kid with from the 80s, with telekinesis and telepathy and really great hair.
Oh yeah, nothing says excitement like a forgotten TV show from the 80s with a guy wearing spandex and, using telepathy to fix his high school arithmetic or something.
Hey, come on. He had Lou Gossett Jr. as his counselor and everything, like his guardian. It's great.
Yeah,
What
yeah. What did he do that was so special, Ed?
Well, he could astral project and he could use his mind powers. Don't you have any mind powers?
No, man, if I had powers like that, I wouldn't be using them for getting good hair.
Well, hey, you know what? You've already got good hair anyway. You know what I reckon? Hey, I'll show you. I've got some mind powers. You ready?
Sure. Ow!
Uh, sorry. Let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister,
This is Mitch Halleck.
and welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a regular viewer, thanks for coming back. Hey, Mitch, before we start today's topic, can you tell us a little bit about what we do here at the show?
Oh, Ed, is easy as being a prince from another planet coming to the Earth and hiding out in a high school when you're mentored by a guy who would soon win an Academy Award for Officer and Gentleman. All you do is to press the button down below. You subscribe to Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. And you know the rest of the YouTube stuff. Hit the like button if you like what we do. Tell your friends, come and watch us as we go back into the past, talking about movies, TV, toys, and forgotten shows like
Mm.
today's topic.
Great segue, Mitch. We are talking about the forgotten show, The Powers of Matthew Starr. Do you remember this TV series at all, Mitch?
All I remember from this show is this guy sitting in the lotus position with kind of a white spandexy outfit and a photo of Lou Gossett Jr. in the background looking very concerned like that. I've got to be painfully honest with you. It wasn't on that long, I think maybe a year, and I did not watch all of it. Maybe I saw a little bit here and there, but what about you?
I do remember this show. It's weird, there's those TV shows that only lasted for, one season or even less. Sometimes they only, got pulled after about a half a dozen episodes.
Mhm.
Well, this was one of those shows, The Powers of Matthew Starr. It debuted in September 1982. It only
Ooh.
ran for one episode. Oh, sorry, one
Wait,
episode.
wait, whoa, whoa,
I
that was
wish.
one hell of an
I
episode.
know, I know. One season and ran for 22 episodes. And it was developed by Steven D'Souza, who actually was this he was involved with Die Hard, Die Hard 2, The Running Man, a lot of I think Hudson Hawk, I kind of like that
Yeah, yeah,
movie.
but I thought that was the other guy. Was it
Oh
Harv
yeah,
Bennett
so
or
one of
Dennis
the
Young?
developers was Harv Bennett.
There you go. I knew there was some kind of connection to Star Trek on this
There
thing.
is, in fact, there's quite a bit of a connection to Star Trek. So this was happening at the same time that Star Trek 2, The Wrath of
Wrath of
Khan
Khan.
was
Yeah.
being developed and filmed. So they actually got Leonard Nimoy to direct an episode,
Oh,
and one of the episodes was written by Walter Koenig.
Mr. Chekhov.
That's right.
Yeah. So there is some Star Trekky
Yeah.
behind the
So
scenes.
and obviously Harv Bennett is well known in Star Trek circles for producing and doing all
Oh
sorts
yeah,
of.
but I think he also made the Bionic Woman and $6 Million Man. I
Hmm.
think he had a connection to that too.
So and you know what? You can watch that episode of the one of our very early
Bionics. Yeah.
ones
But
right up
very
here.
popular. Yeah.
So the show was basically the synopsis of the show, if you haven't seen it, and it is just this guy in spandex, it's really weird whites and
Everybody wore spandex. I think it was left over from Aaron Gray.
Peter Barton, who plays Matthew Starr, he was originally Daniel Starr. And the actual
Mhm.
show went through a lot of name changes, and it was actually going to be called the Powers of Daniel Starr. In fact, in some press clippings that they had the logo of Matthew Starr, but they mentioned it as Daniel Starr and everything
Hmm.
like that. And did you know Tom Cruise actually auditioned for the role?
I heard Ringo Starr was up for it too, but they said it was too close.
Just if only he had one less R in his surname, it would have been
Exactly.
fine.
No,
So
Tom Cruise would say. So this is 82.
82.
So I think Risky Business is about to happen. He just done The Outsiders.
Yes.
So he was still in, yeah, he was still kind of early on before his big career
So
break.
probably a good thing that he didn't get
Yeah.
this role, or who knows? Maybe we'd all be talking about
Maybe
Matthew Starr.
Peter Barton might be the star of Mission Impossible or
Well, that's
Top Gun.
true. Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows? So
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I do remember something about this. Didn't this kid get hurt really bad, like burned on the show or
he
something?
did. He did. There was an
Yeah,
accident where
yeah.
it
I
involved
remember that.
him falling on some fire. He got or some pyrotechnics. He got burnt. They had to delay the
Whoa.
filming and everything like that. So yeah, there was an onset accident behind the scenes. They were trying to figure out what they were going to call it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Basically, the premise is that he is actually Matthew Starr is a prince from another planet called Quadris, which is
Oh,
a couple of light years away, and there's an
right
intergalactic
up the
conflict.
street.
It is
Yeah.
well, like in Connecticut, because everything is.
Everything's in Connecticut. Yeah.
And basically, he flees with his, and he's known as E Hawk. It's like E slash Hawk,
Oh,
not
like
like Stringfellow Hawk, but E
or
Hawk.
it could have been Ethan Hawke's initials,
It could have been.
maybe.
Maybe he auditioned for it as well. He would have been. Oh,
Everybody auditioned. I think I did. I was like 15.
that's
So,
right. So basically, they get exiled because there's this interplanetary battle. They get
mm,
sort of sent to Earth, the nearest planet that can maintain life, and then he, I suppose, lives life as a teenager while
mm.
being mentored and protected by Lou Gossett Jr., who you did mention was just about to win an Academy Award. The
Officer and
following year
gentleman.
in
Yeah.
1983, I think that was,
Yep.
wasn't it? An Officer and Gentleman, or was that
Yep.
82?
Officer and gentleman. Somewhere around
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So, and along this was Amy Steele, which is his who played his girlfriend Pamela Elliott, and basically adventures would ensue. There would be occasional battles, not
Hmm.
anything too exciting, but
Right.
assassins who looked like humans, of course, trying to get Matthew. No one knew that he was, an alien.
Alien
Obviously,
Prince.
there was
Yeah.
an investigator from, of course, the U.S. Air Force and
Yeah. They're
extraterrestrial,
government.
those
Yeah.
sort of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first half of the season was basically just him living as a teenager, and obviously used his powers occasionally and things like that. And then
Right.
they shifted to a bit more of an adventure
Like a fugitive
orientated
thing.
series in the second half. And he did, as his powers, he had telekinesis,
Mm.
telepathy, and he could also astral project. So he could sort of like appear in other places and make
Yeah. Like
promises to
Doctor
other people.
Strange can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So essentially though, it didn't gel with the public. It was I think it like was in the 80 high 80s ranked at
Yeah.
the end of the year,
There's
or
only 70 shows. Yeah.
that's
Something.
right. I know it wasn't really good. And
No,
interestingly,
I vaguely remember it being on here on NBC, but I'm gonna say maybe Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. I don't know exactly, or maybe a Sunday night show
yep.
because there wasn't a lot. No, Tuesdays 8 was the A team, so it definitely was not the A team time slot. But I do remember it being on earlier, maybe Friday nights at 8 o'clock. It never really found an audience, and you'd be surprised. Back in the day, specific times was key. There was no
Hmm.
DVRs, there was maybe VCRs, but none of this like streaming and watch when you want to do it or anything like that or download it. So having a good time slot on a
Yep.
certain day, like a Saturday night when people are home or Sunday night when the kids are getting ready for school, that was key. I
Mm.
mean, that made or break certain shows. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, and if they shifted
oh, you
time
never saw it
slots,
again.
yeah, it was
Yes.
very hard to recover from that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, Matthew Starr never really, it never really started
No.
anyway. But no, one last interesting thing about the show is the pilot, where they changed. Was saying he was Daniel Starr,
Yeah.
um, and he was in a school. He was sort of friends with the janitor there at this
Uh-huh.
school. They ended up using that as the final episode, the actual pilot, and they had Peter Barton record sort of like a top and tail just to
Yeah.
explain why he was called Daniel Starr. So they
Really?
actually use that. Yeah. So you can get the DVD set. It's very expensive now. It was released a while ago.
It
Um,
is?
yeah, it's like $70 on Amazon. It was a little
What
bit
for how
pricey.
many
Yeah.
episodes? What, 20, 30?
22.
Eh, that's a lot of money for
I
that.
know. I know. I bought
Yeah.
that's how much I spent on Emergency, and that's like
Oh, you
eight
got like,
seasons.
5 or 6 years of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
So
It's probably on streaming, I bet. Yeah, I bet maybe it's even on YouTube,
there
you
are
know.
bits on there. Look, there are parts on YouTube and things like that, but it's worth a watch. Like if you
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, wait a
stuff,
minute.
yeah, like
Any merchandise? I mean, it might not have survived long enough to get a
zero
toy
merchandise. I thought there would have maybe been a
board game
like a book,
puzzle.
a novel tie-in or something like that of one or two
Not even
episodes.
that, huh?
No, nothing.
Wow. I mean, even the man from Atlantis that we talked about, one of our more popular shows, they got a comic book. I'm pretty sure he got some more merchandise too. I think
Yeah, oh, there was a I
maybe
think there
a
was a
board
board
game.
game as well.
Look at Battlestar Galactica.
Ah,
My God, that was a one and done season, and they had everything for
everything.
that show.
Yep.
Toys, board games, electronic games,
Jigsaw
puzzles.
puzzles.
Oh my God, it was crazy. It
Yeah.
was crazy. See, I guess it depends on how much the network believed in it. This
I
thing
think I
sounded like it was a pilot that kind of lucked
it's
out,
just a
really.
little bit bland. It's like it reminded me a little bit of not exactly, but the Incredible Hulk. He's always being
Well,
chased and
yeah,
chased by
it's a fugitive. Jack McGee, the investigative
yeah.
reporter, and goes town to town, and he's got to change his name, and then
Same with
something happens.
Starman. This the same premise.
Starman, yeah, yeah.
Was that sort of thing. Obviously,
Well,
he was staying in the one place, but
This is before Starman, so maybe
this was
that's
82, 83.
yeah.
So
So
Starman
Starman's
was
84, 5,
84, 80. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
85,
84.
I think the TV series was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember Robert Hayes. That's
Yeah.
another story.
Good
There
old
was a
Robert.
lot of alien shows. Now that we think about it, before X Files, I mean, we've done Alf, but there
Yeah.
was a lot of wacky alien. Of course, there was V at the time too that was on.
Yeah.
Huh? TV had a lot of aliens
Oh,
back then.
yeah. And, they were trying to find that next big.
Remember the Phoenix? We never did that. Judson Scott, he was in Wrath of Khan. He played
Oh,
Joaquin.
he had a guest role in this episode
Oh, really?
show
No,
as
no.
well. Yeah.
Judson Scott was very popular. He worked a lot in
Yep.
the 80s. He was like on a lot of shows, but he did a show called The Phoenix where he was an alien. And I remember the
Didn't he have
opening.
a headband?
He
Did
was
he
in
have
a, yeah, but he was like in a pyramid. He was
I
like
do
sitting there.
remember that. Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We've got a lot. There's a lot of TV shows we're going to explore, I think, and they're worth checking out, I think, don't
Yeah.
you?
Well, you say so,
Uh,
sure.
you know what else is worth checking out?
You and
That's
me.
right.
Right, like a book at a library that you don't want to bring back.
That's
All you gotta do to do that is you don't have to go to a library. All you have to do is watch YouTube, watch Mitch and Ed's excellent adventure as we go back and change our names from Daniel Dollister to Mitchell Matthew Star. We don't know, but whatever it is, you'll find us here, trapped in this TV set,
that's right.
watching these old shows that you might have forgotten, and we're reminding you like a bad penny.
That's
That's
right.
it.
We'll
All you gotta
we'll
do hit the
always show
subscribe
up.
button.
And if you've got a suggestion, put it in the comments for a TV show that we
Yeah, we
haven't.
actually read that stuff. Ed does. I
I
kind of
do. I do. I reply on Mitch's
he
behalf because
does. On my
his
I
contract isn't
replied.
allowed.
Well, the guy that said I had one too many shanties last week. I'm like,
No, some shandy.
what?
You know what a shandy is, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's one of those fancy drinks. Pinky's
It's
out.
no. It's
What?
beer. It's beer and lemonade.
Oh, that's not a thing really here.
Yeah, it's in Australia. It is so.
Yeah, well,
It's
so
a
are
lady.
koalas.
It was considered a lady's drink. When you go to the pub, she'd
Is
have
it
a
like a
lemon.
spritz? I like the spritz over in Europe. And Sharon goes, those are kind of like,
I,
Spritz, a
I don't
wine.
know.
You know what a spritz is?
Oh no, I've had a spritz, but I'm not
Yeah,
a, you know.
they all
But
do that in
but
Europe.
it's all
Yeah,
cleared up now. So thank you for
yeah. Put
those.
some
Thanks
salve
for the
on it.
cream.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
So
Remember Mark
signing off.
Spritz, the
What?
swimmer? Remember Mark Spritz, the swimmer?
No,
And
Spitz. Mark Spitz.
oh God, that's kind of disgusting.
I had his speedos.
I was gonna say
Not his
thing.
actual
His
speedos.
actual speedo.
No,
I hope you washed them. Did you
his
wash them?
branded speedos.
Did you now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
back in
I
the
had his gold
70s.
medals. I had the hair on his chest. I bought it, just clumps of it. See, it's all gray now.
Good old, oh my God, good old Mark Spitz. I haven't thought of that
I
because on
think he's
the
still
logo on the Speedos, like I remember the label and it had a picture of him with all his like his 7 gold medals or whatever that he
interesting.
anyway.
The
What's this got to
70s.
do with the powers
I
of
have no idea. We've gone into your speedos.
don't go in there. On
There
that
goes the
note,
ratings. The ratings
this
are
is our
through the
dollar
roof now.
star.
And Mitch Halleck, I don't want to see any more.
Okay, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.